Well, hello and welcome. I have some music to kick things off while I post the socials. Doesn't take very long when I'm ready. Takes a little bit longer when I've left everything to the last minute, but today I was actually ready, so it's all posted. So GM, and welcome to the daily NFT market health analysis with me, Daniel Tenner, aka Swombat, where we look at the data of what's happening with the NFT market, try to understand what's going on, where it might go, and also today review another project, because I've been doing that for the last couple of days and it's been kind of fun. And yeah, I feel like doing it some more. It's kind of like, it feels like a bit of a risky activity, reviewing projects kind of blind without really knowing what I'm getting into. In the case of today, the Fuck Avatar project by Fuck Render and Lucidia, I feel like I had a quick look at it yesterday, so it's not entirely blind, but it's mostly blind, as in I haven't spoken to the founders. I don't really know what their motivations are, so it's the kind of review that somebody who doesn't have access to founders would know, like the kind of perspective that I do when I don't have access to founders. Anyway, we'll get to that later. First, let's look at the market. So we can see one optimistic sign instantly looking at this, which is that basically everything, all the indices are above or like touching the 7-day SMA. That's the blue line, which is like more optimistic than we've been for a while. I mean, even just yesterday we had, so this one was above somewhere here, but these two were beneath, and they've kind of risen up now. And the women-led projects index even touched the 30-day SMA briefly. Now, these lines don't mean anything, but they can have the meaning that we give to them, and the meaning that we might give to them is that it's better to be above the 7-day SMA than below, and that seems like a reasonable meaning in terms of, you know, bullishness of the market, and doesn't seem like much of a stretch. Like, logically, if you're beneath the 7-day SMA, that means that you're going down on average over the last week. Like, you're going down, yeah, basically you're going down, and we want things to go up and to the right. So being above the 7-day SMA is generally good. Being above the 30-day SMA is generally better. Nothing is above the 30-day SMA at the moment, but everything is above the 7-day SMA. So it's in a place of kind of uncertainty with a sort of medium-term or like short-term bullishness there, which we can see is still maintained here. Can't draw straight lines. There you go. That's a beautiful one. And I mean, there's also ways to draw this one like this or like this. But anyway, the point is there's a kind of pattern, like there's a kind of channel there that we're within, depending on how you want to draw it. And we're still within it. If this starts going down here, then obviously we won't be. If it bounces up and goes like this, then we still will be. If it goes up here, then we're really happy. Especially since, as we'll look at the longer term picture of the top 10, if we did go up here, that would likely mean that we've broken the downtrend. So, however, as we'll see when we look at a longer term picture, we're still in a medium term downtrend. So, you know, even this is not necessarily a convincing, it's not convincing yet. We need more, basically, before we're convinced. Or at least I need more before I'm convinced. If we look at the bar charts, just to spot if there's any irregularities going on there, we see that no, actually the volume here in the top 10 is no longer just due to Cool Cats. It's kind of like it's a multiplicity of projects. Similarly, nothing stands out, particularly in Zeneca Old. I mean, there was a spike here because of one project, which might be Cool Cats actually. Yeah, that might well be Cool Cats itself. But why it's so much bigger here, I'm not sure. Yeah, but it could be like the shapeless short bar, long bar, medium bar, and here there's short bar, long bar, medium. So I think that's Cool Cats as well, causing a pump in the Zeneca Olds the index. So without that pump, it's not doing that great. It's going down here, but you know, looking at this picture, yeah, I mean it was kind of somewhere here, and now it's sort of going down. So that's probably the index that's in the most danger at the moment. And Zeneca New is trending down in the last few bars, but overall sort of holding or trending very gently up. And the women-led projects is actually getting some good activity here across multiple projects again. So that's good, that's healthy. It's where we want to see. It's not as amazing as whatever happened here. I don't know what happened here, but it looks good. And it would have been nice if it was sustained. So let's look at the top 10 in a little bit more perspective. So what I was saying is we know that we have this downtrend, and that downtrend is still maintained. We've not escaped out of this channel, despite the fact that we have this uptrend here. And if it sort of continues in this uptrend, at some point it will break out of the downtrend. So we have, I mean, one way to call this, I think, is like a flag pattern. If you just kind of draw it like this, and at some point it needs to escape of this flag pattern. And you know, by definition, it needs to either go up or down. I mean, it can keep going all the way to the corner of this thing, but eventually it needs to get out because it has to go in this direction at the very least. And in price, like in technical analysis of prices, which this is not, remember this, the yellow line is volumes. Usually when this kind of flag pattern happens, volume dries up as well because there's uncertainty, and then eventually when it gets out of the flag pattern, it either shoots up or shoots down depending on how the market reacts once there's suddenly decisiveness. Now, this is not a price chart, and I think comparatively few people are looking at this compared to the technical analysis that sort of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in price, like in stocks and crypto and stuff. So therefore, I'm not expecting that kind of sudden volatility when we escape this triangle here. But I'm expecting to get some kind of. I mean, there's three scenarios. Either we break conclusively above this line and we sort of like continue rising here, and that's really bullish. That's the best case scenario, I think, where we hold or overtake. Basically, we like this becomes the pattern. That would be great. Another option is actually it's the top one that we hold and we collapse back down. We might collapse back down slowly like this, but we basically go back down. That would be very bearish, and it could mean that we might get back down to super low levels. Or the third option, of course, is these lines that I've drawn here have absolutely no meaning to anything, and it just goes sideways like this and doesn't give a shit about the lines that I've drawn. And that's often what happens. So, you know, bear that in mind as a very plausible option, that actually all these patterns that I've seen here were just in my mind and don't actually have any meaning, and actually the market does something completely different. So, I mean, I don't see any other options than that, sideways, up, or down. And I guess we'll see, but the thing is we'll see within like a few days now. Yeah, I think we have only a few days left, so probably by early next week we'll see whether we're going to continue with this, whether we're going to go down, whether we're going to go sideways, for now anyway. So that would be nice. We'll at least have some kind of update on this. If we now look at Zeneca Old, I said this one is the more endangered one, and we can see that also is the one that's closest to the 7-day SMA. It's definitely still in its downward channel as well here. It's also got this little up channel going on, so it's kind of basically the same pattern as the top 10. And here as well, there's basically a similar flag pattern, although it will take a little bit longer to resolve, I think, based on the lines that I've drawn there. So it's actually going to resolve sometime after the top 10, which makes sense, at least in my model of things. I can also see that the price is dropping a little bit in the Zeneca Old. Worth looking at that as well, by the way, in the top 10, and seeing that the price shot up, I think based on the Cool Cats stuff, and then has come back down. So it's kind of been flat-ish over the last week or so. It had a good collapse here, but it's been sort of flat. I mean, it went up and then went back down. But on the whole, it's about the same level. The price index is at about the same level that it was a week ago, which, yeah, is interesting. I guess this level of volume is what's needed for the prices to stay roughly the same, with some volatility, some fluctuation, at least at the moment. If we look at Zeneca New, This one is slightly more optimistic than Zeneca Old. And we, I mean, where is there to note here? It's still like, in this, I mean, it's still very much in this kind of long-term downtrend here. However you want to draw this, there's still a lot of room to go before. I mean, this looks nice on this short-term chart here. Well, it doesn't even look nice there, but it looks like, okay, maybe we might be like recovering, we'll get there. But if we recover at this rate, it's going to take us like, this is like 2 months to get back to the levels we were at in late January. So, hopefully it's going to recover a little bit faster than that. Or alternatively, it's going to sort of continue going down, and so it might sort of try to do this and then go down like this. If we get the down, I believe if we get the downward scenario in the top 10, we're going to get something like this here. So, let's keep our hopes up for the top 10. Finally, the women-led projects index is getting a little bit of short-term positivity. It hit against the 30-day SMA there. It's still very much in that long-term downtrend, which has kind of become a sort of exponentially slowing curve. Like, I don't know if you can see this. It's like looking like this basically, which, maybe it means that it will start rising again on the other side. That would be nice. And maybe it won't, but it certainly doesn't need to, just because I drew the line, and well, we'll see what happens. So that's it, I think, for the indices. As usual, feel free to ask your questions in the channel if you have some questions. I also want to have a quick look at, before looking at Fuck Avatar, I want to have a quick look at the crypto, just to point out that, yeah, we're still in that channel there. So crypto is also not giving us any kind of conclusive news. Is it going to collapse below this support line? Is it going to start rising up and confirm that, okay, we're really in this bullish pattern? Well, not yet. Whatever it's going to do is going to make us wait a little bit longer. But it's interesting that this is holding so far, at least interesting to me. Also worth pointing out, I have, as I mentioned yesterday, updated, actually I need to update the text here. Oh, bloody hell, they've started with the drilling again. Just after I started this. This is getting a bit annoying. Sorry about the drilling, guys. Maybe I'll try and find out which of my neighbors are doing that and ask them not to do that at 2 p.m. precisely. Anyway, I've updated the index there. It'd be good to know if you can hear the drilling when it starts, so I know whether it is actually important for me to do this. I assume that you can hear it. Like, it's going now. Anyway, so the numbers here have changed. The order hasn't changed so much. We still have the same top 10, basically. We still have roughly the same trends. But now, basically, it's still doing effectively the same algorithm, but it's looking at the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, the last 4 weeks. Or actually, is it doing that? No, it's looking at the last week, the week before that, the week before that, the week before that. It's adding up each of the weeks separately. I think I'll need to double check. I might need to tweak it some more, but it's just trying to make it so that you don't get such a giant drop at the end of the first month, which will happen otherwise for a lot of these projects. So we'll see. I'm still playing with this relevance algorithm. Thanks, Jason. I'm still playing with this relevance algorithm to try and keep it, make it useful in order to determine, which projects are relevant. That's the point of a relevance index, I suppose. So, since there are no questions, let's jump into Fuck Avatar. And the first thing to say about Fuck Avatar is, I'm aware that Fuck Avatar is started by an artist called Fuck Render, who is quite popular in the crypto space. And so I expect... So it's kind of a semi-blind review, because I know something about Fuck Render, and I know something and I did glance at the project yesterday because I was like, ooh, this is a famous person who's done this. I don't want to just I just didn't feel too confident jumping in without knowing anything about it at all. Just wanted to sort of do a quick recon. And I'm not evaluating the art. I'm not evaluating the artistic merit. I'm not evaluating it as an art project. I'm evaluating it as some kind of sort of startup, effectively a project that's trying to deliver some kind of utility, which I believe, based on like the first description here, like utility seems to be part of the project here. So that's what I'm like. That's how I'm approaching it, and that's how I approach every. Like, if it was a pure art project, I wouldn't invest in it at all. I wouldn't consider it, because I don't believe I have any edge in determining which art projects are going to do well or not. I might buy some art because I like it. Like, I've bought a Fusion Ape because I liked it, but that's not an investment. That's just because I like it and I wanted to own it, and it's not as an investment. Whilst when I do my investments, I'm trying to make money. So I'm trying to identify undervalued projects that are going to deliver some kind of really good utility that therefore the market is going to value higher once the market wakes up to its value. It's good for me if the project is undervalued and if it's got strong future utility that I believe they'll be able to deliver. So if we start here, we can see, okay, like, it looks very nice, beautiful animation, etc., and so on. It's already minted out, 13,000 projects, and so fuck avatars are 3D collectibles that have inherent utilities in the ecosystem fuck render is building. Okay, so like the value of this is going to be as part of an ecosystem is the first thing that I note. My first reaction to that is, it's a kind of mix. It's an amber flag. Like, I think delivering a startup that builds some kind of value is already pretty damn hard. Delivering a whole ecosystem upfront is extra hard. Now, I'm not saying that means that fuck render can't do it. It's definitely possible, but I like there's a kind of principle in the startup world that if you need more than one piece of magic for your project to work, it's not going to work. So like, try to have only one extraordinary thing that's necessary for your project success rather than several. Any plan that depends on multiple like things to line up perfectly is probably not going to work. So I'm a bit cautious when I see that it's about utilities in an ecosystem that's being built. And, maybe this will be the one that will build the ecosystem, but, that's an extra risk on this project. Encapsulating this project are the elements developed by fuck render over the last 10 years of his work. So we know this is a serious artist who's been in the crypto space for a while. With the addition of new elements, the avatars have been designed to coexist with the fuck crystals that act as beacons in Lucidia. Okay, so there's another project called Fuck Crystals that's related to that, and Lucidia, which I guess is the ecosystem within which this functions. If we then look at this, so they'll be launched in 4 phases using a token called Essence. So this stuff is just noise. This is just how they launch. Like, there's something to do with Essence, and it's just some kind of obfuscation of some sort of mint process or gamification of a mint process. Ultimately, this is just noise. It has zero impact on the long-term value of the project, so we can completely ignore it, this whole Essence thing. Ideally, you would want to translate that into an actual cost for like per NFT, and figure out, what does it actually cost us to have the eventual NFT, and then what utility that NFT has. Here they've used some kind of Essence thing, and fuck crystals holders can mint Essence and blah blah blah. There's like a whole kind of complicated process for how you end up minting this. That works in the NFT space to make it more complicated, but it doesn't work with me. I'm like, I like to style myself like the bug dude in if you've seen the first, like the episode 1 of Star Wars, which, the awful one with Jar Jar Binks. There's that bit where the guy goes like, your Jedi mind tricks don't work with me, only money. And, well, I mean, not quite so blunt perhaps, but this is Jedi mind tricks. Ignore. I don't care. I want to see what the utility is, the long-term utility. Every handmade fuck crystal is just about the fuck crystal holders. creators fuck render. Okay, so like they've used a bunch of artists to do this stuff. And yeah, the art looks kind of nice. Like at least these ones look pretty nice. Okay, great. Okay, this is interesting. What are fuck avatars? It's profile picture project that is core, but the avatars were actually designed to be used as landmarks in metaverse platforms, including Lucidia. So that's, I mean, that's at least a clear statement of what it is, which is nice. So they know what they are doing. Now the question is, do I believe that that has value? Fuck Avatar is a profile picture project at its core. Now, I think that the way that projects like all the projects after Basie have succeeded is not by being profile picture projects at their core, but by being utility projects at their core, which happen to have profile pictures as a way to make the whole thing more interesting. Like the collectability, helps with the trading, and the profile picture helps with the marketing and the sort of identification and emotional connection with the project. But they're not like, I don't believe Basie is a profile picture project at its core. I think Basie is a utility project at its core that happens to use a profile picture. And so I'm on my guard when I read that, okay, this is a profile picture project at its core, especially knowing that this is started by a very like a significant artist in the crypto space. I get a sense that, oh, you're buying art here, and I don't want to buy art. But the avatars were actually designed to be used as landmarks in metaverse platforms, including Lucidia. Now, this is potential utility, but to me, like, I've written a thread about this. I feel like, metaverse stuff is so uncertain at this point that I hesitate to invest in stuff where the utility is going to depend on this, on any metaverse platform existing, because I don't know if it's going to take, like, my guess is it's going to take 6 months or more, 5 years or more before we actually have metaverse platforms where avatars are relevant. And I don't think they'll look anything like what people are designing today. I don't think they're going to be Minecraft clones or whatever. I suspect that they're going to go via augmented reality and so on. And that's my opinion. And I could be completely wrong. And Fuck Render might be a visionary, and he might have looked around the corners and spotted the thing coming. And maybe it's actually going to be here in 6 months, and he's going to be perfectly positioned to take advantage of it. But my belief is that metaverse platforms, that's something very far away. I wouldn't want to buy something whose main utility is to be used in a metaverse platform, especially one that's being built by the project that's selling the avatars, because now that's two really difficult things to do. There's just so many difficult things, so many impossible things that, like, a startup can do one impossible thing, maybe. 2, 3, 4, not a good plan from my perspective. Also, since being created by digital artist Fuck Render, the avatars give you access to the whole ecosystem he's building. Yeah, okay, so that's actually slightly stronger value, because he's already got an established reputation, and maybe that creates value in terms of enabling you to collect other art that might be valuable and so on. That could be stronger value. It's not really for me because I don't collect art, but that could be valuable to people who like to collect art by Fuck Render. What will Fuck Avatars have utilities? Fuck Avatars' first utility is simply looking stunning. So here we're again on the art thing. I don't buy, like, I have a lot of NFTs. Like, I think, what does it say how many I have? 100, is this refreshed? I think I have more than that now. 167, like, that are not hidden. Pretty much none of these I have bought because they look stunning. I mean, I like the looks of some of them. I love the looks of the Meta Angels. I love the looks of the Crypto Coven as well. I find the Curious Addies quite cute. I kind of like the looks of the Not Your Bros. It was not a very good purchase, but oh well. Obviously, I like the Fusion Apes, since one of them I was gifted and the other one I bought because I wanted to own it to eventually hang it on my wall. So I'm not insensitive to art, but I don't buy those things because, like, apart from the Fusion Apes, I don't buy NFTs because of the art. the fact that they look stunning is irrelevant to whether the business will be successful and whether it's going to be successful investments. And then the next statement, there are not a lot of 3D PFP projects out there, and owning one will be a big flex. Ugh. Well, I mean, first of all, I think there are a lot of 3D PFP projects out there right now, and to the point where I think 3D projects were such a 3D projects are really, really special, that scammers started making mostly 3D projects. So actually, in my mind, 3D projects are more associated with rugs than with great projects. Obviously, there are exceptions, but I'm not so sure about this statement. And, if I look at OpenSea and I load up the avatar thing to see just how amazing they look, it's this one, I think. I mean, they look all right. Do they look stunning? I mean, I don't know. They look all right. They there's nothing there where I'm like, oh my god, I want to just gaze at this all day, or I don't want any of these on my wall. So to me, none of these look stunning to that degree. I prefer this is just my personal preference, but I don't look at this and think this is the most insane art that's ever been created. And yeah, I mean, it looks cool, but yeah, I'm not so sure about that first utility. And I don't buy investments for flexing. And people buy expensive things for flexing, and this is currently at a floor of 0.292. I don't think I don't think Justin Bieber is buying one of those to flex anytime soon, I'm afraid. The second utility is being part of the fuck render ecosystem, which includes discount on future drops and being allowed in real life events. There again, we hit the same problem that we saw with where it was Muri by House, that this is kind of self-referential stuff or relatively low value stuff. Being allowed in real life events, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't have a shortage of events to go to. I have plenty of cool people that I'd like to meet, and I don't have the time to meet them. And being allowed in special events is not that valuable to me. I'm sure it is to some people, but those people usually find their ways into the events that they want to go to anyway. I don't know. To me, that's kind of weak value. The events stuff, it's nice, but it's a bonus. It shouldn't be a core value. It shouldn't be the second utility. And discounts on future drops is just, it is rendered a little bit more valuable there because Funk Render is an established artist. So if you get a discount on his drops and he tends to release stuff that's worth a lot, then, that's potentially quite valuable. Could very well be worth 0.3. Because his art, I had a look, I did have a look at that. If we look at Fuck Render, and look at his, assuming this is a collection of his art, the floor price of his art is 0.89. I'm not sure why it's a 0.89, but it is. So be it. It is what it is. And if it is 0.89, and is there trading activity? There is some trading activity, and there's been a massive drop here because one sale that happened at 0.35. But yeah, so paying 0.3 to gain access to drops that might be worth 0.89 or 1 ETH or something, it's not necessarily a bad call. It's not for me because I don't want to buy art, but it could be sensible for somebody. It's definitely value for someone. Thirdly, with the upcoming launch of the Lucidia experience, Fuck Avatar will provide an important utility linked with the tokenomics of the game. Well, what is this important utility? It will help you get more tokens, presumably. So that's the kind of... Yeah, I'm more, like my reaction again, and this is just my reaction. It's like the tokenomics things is often very much a kind of disguised Ponzinomics system. So I'd need to read about the tokenomics to see whether that's true here as well or different. But I'm not convinced just based on this statement. And finally, one of the utilities down the road will include playable characters. Stay tuned for that. So that depends on Lucidia being actually worth playing, which is unclear based on just what we see here. We need to research Lucidia, which is good that the next answer is what is Lucidia. So I want to note actually there that the FAQ is substantially better than many FAQs. Like if we compare it to, if you remember the Muri by House, let's just load that one up to compare. I think it was this. There we had an FAQ. What was it? Where was the FAQ? Didn't we have an FAQ here, or was it the other one? No, it was it was not the Muri. That one was well researched. It was a few days ago. Can anyone remind me what it was that I reviewed impromptu? Okay, let me just load up my own YouTube channel and I'll figure it out. Did I not put it in the title? Silly me. Mariba House, Project Review Lamos. Like, what did I review here? Okay, let's just jump here. What was it? More by Joan Cornella. Okay, so more. So if we compare it to the FAQ that we had here, here was like, you know, where can I purchase? It was just such a boring waste of space to have this as an FAQ. There was nothing actually important being communicated here. Here they actually thought about what people are going to ask and like what they need to know in order to be convinced to buy. So that's a good sign. And, you know, like my thinking process is literally following the FAQ, not because I'm following the FAQ, but because the FAQ matches my thinking process. I'm like, you know, what is this? What is the utility? Okay, the utility depends on Lucidia. So what is Lucidia? I like those top 3 questions are good. Lucidia is a metaverse gaming platform with built-in tokenomics and high-level gameplay mechanics. It is an exploratory art experience taking place in a surreal sci-fi world and living on the blockchain. So, yeah. I mean, there's some kind of art experience, basically, which is nice. But, like, I don't, yeah, I mean, so, okay, so my sense is becoming now that, which makes sense because of who's created this, which is Fuck Render, who is an artist, who's a, like, well-known artist in the crypto space, that Fuck Avatar is a way to buy into Fuck Render's vision of what he's creating there, this kind of metaverse and so on, and the metaverse itself is going to be an art experience, and an art experience can be worth buying into. I don't think it's going to be a place where you hang out all day, but it could be something where you go and like experience some kind of art. And that's not my kind of investment. I don't want to buy art, at least not as an investment. But it's a valid investment if you want to buy into Fuck Render's artistic vision and if you believe that his artistic vision is worth following. I mean, you know, it's kind of like a launch pad for his vision. Do you believe in Fuck Render's vision? If you do, this might be worth buying, especially since it's not super expensive right now at like 0.3. If you don't believe in his vision, then probably don't buy into this. But I think that's probably going to be the main driver, is if you want to buy art, this is a way to buy art of a different form than just art you hang on the wall. It's kind of art as an experience. And they've done, like, as you'd expect for somebody who's very crypto native, they've done this whole like game here of like, you know, with the essence and whatever. They're playing with the concepts and like toying with the Ponzinomics. And so that could very well work as a way to sort of wrap the art and make it so fun and potentially profitable as well. I mean, it will depend on whether, like, so if Fuck Render in 5 years' time has delivered some kind of amazing artistic vision there that's like world famous and like people go to museums and put on 3D goggles to watch their stuff and so on, like, who knows, those Fuck Avatars could be worth a lot as kind of access points for this. Maybe museums will be buying them, I don't know. Like, there's all sorts of things that can make art valuable, and I'm not an art investor, and so I can't really evaluate those. But the like as an art project, this probably does make sense. It just doesn't make sense as a startup. These utilities are not very useful unless you believe that Fuck Render has some kind of big artistic vision that is going to be really huge and successful in the future. And if you believe that, yeah, it's probably not a bad call to buy one of those, or even multiple if you really believe, if you really have conviction that Fuck Render is the artist that's going to, you know, win or something. There's not one artist wins, like all artists can win together. But if you believe that Fuck Render is going to be an artist of great renown and that his work is therefore going to be valued very highly. So it feels like that's a good conclusion point to work. Like all the other FAQs are about this kind of little game they've played with the essence and stuff. So I don't think I need to go into those. Yeah, it feels like a good conclusion point to reach for this Fuck Avatar review. I think I've been reasonably fair about it. I don't think it's an unfair evaluation of the project. It is, as usual, from my point of view, and other people might have a very different point of view. And I look at things as small businesses. I want to invest in things that are going to deliver utility to their holders, and where there's a kind of interplay between the utility and the NFTs that ends up boosting the value of the NFTs and so on. So I'm not really into investing in art, and this feels more like an art project. But as far as art projects go, you could probably do worse than betting on somebody like Fuck Render, who's already got an established reputation, I guess, if you're into art investment. So that's my review then. Oh God, I had the music playing for the whole time. Sorry about that. I hope it wasn't too distracting. I'll restart the music now because we're at the end. But apologies for the distracting music if it was distracting. You couldn't hear it. Okay, well, fair enough. Can you not hear it now either? Right. I would assume that you can hear it now. If I put it to max volume. I mean, even I can hear it now. Okay. Right, I'll leave it here for the end. Cool. I hope this was useful. I hope it was fair and not like, I don't feel like I shat on this project. I feel like I gave it a relatively fair review considering the little amount of time that I spent on it. What are my thoughts on Hug's sustainable value? I would suggest jumping on the Discord, and I will make a poll for the next project, and I think Hugs might be one of them. So then one tomorrow will probably include Hugs. The poll tomorrow, well, I mean, it's only just getting started, but okay. Somebody's also requested Martian Premier League. Like, jump in the Discord and suggest it for the next poll, and let's get it added there, and then vote for it, and then I'll do a review on Hugs. But like the TLDR is I spoke to the founders, and I believe that the founding team is solid and they have some proven competence that I've observed, and so I'm bullish on it, and so I swept 10 of them today. So that's my view there. It's a relatively lightly researched play there, but I'm basing like my bet there on my investment on quality of founders and community. Okay, one last question there. Do you also think that NFT art is going to be dependent on the whole NFT space? As in, if NFT dies and only solid projects remain, will the art sector die out? I think already at this point, the NFT sector is a multiplicity of sectors that could die out independently without necessarily affecting each other that much. I mean, they would affect each other, but not as much as you might think. Like, there's at least PFP projects, which I think are businesses, basically raising funding in a novel way and building communities at the same time as they're raising funding. There's art, which is a completely different beast from businesses. And there's NFT land as well, which is another different thing. And those three, I mean, I'm dubious about the proposition of NFT land, but it does seem to be a sector that is doing something. So there's already like 3 sectors there. I think probably if PFPs die, land will struggle, but art could easily just carry on, because art was there before the PFPs. It might deflate the art market a little bit, but I think most of the art collectors that are buying this stuff don't really care. They buy it because they like it and they want to collect it. They don't not buying it as an investment. So they might actually welcome that, because they can buy the art that they want cheaper. And I don't think they're going to step out. And like, I don't think Punk 6529 is going to stop collecting art because people aren't buying PFPs anymore. That would be my perspective on that. Or, you know, Cosimo de Medici, the sort of Snoop Dogg, he's going to continue buying art because he likes to buy art. Yeah, again, like, so Kevin, just jump in the Discord and suggest it for the next poll, and we can add Huxley, and yeah, and I might review it. Okay, so we're now 40 minutes in, so I'm going to end this stream now. But thank you very much for dialing in. Thank you very much for listening to this whenever you're listening to it. I really appreciate your attention. I hope this review of Fuck Avatar was useful to you. And yeah, feel free to jump into the Discord and suggest more projects that we can review. I'll make some polls and we can vote on those. Cool. Right. Have a lovely weekend, lovely Easter weekend. I hope you're doing something fun. If you're in the UK or in Europe, I hope you're enjoying the weather. Yeah, take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.